Testing one, two, testing one, two, one, two, testing, testing one, two, testing. It does show, like I'm looking at the feed now. Testing, testing, one, two, testing. Okay. All right, just waiting for this to load up. My apologies for the delay. All right, should be establishing now. Sorry, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Sorry for the technical difficulties. All right, I believe this should be established now. So I believe it is connected. Okay, perfect. All right, so are we on? We on? Okay. Hey, blessings everyone. I am Elegance Champagne, founder of Abstract Thoughts, our transition mind, and VP with my beautiful queen, Takiyah Diamond, and also part of a phenomenal tag team transformational team with Queen Mother and Maku. So for those of you guys that may not know, today's Tuesday, which is the Tag Team Transformational Tuesday. So guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Show you much love. Thank you. Make sure that you do share this link, guys. Make sure that you are sharing. Make sure that you are liking, just spreading the message about the positive movements that's taking place. Also want to give a great big shout out for Vanessa JC for allowing us to utilize the studio, our awesome, phenomenal studio. What exactly is the name of the studio again, Vanessa? Warehouse 24. For those of you who may not be aware of it, this is Warehouse 24, an awesome facility. So we definitely want to just thank Vanessa JC for giving us this opportunity to utilize this platform as well. So guys, today's topic that I actually had listed was the transitional adaptation. So if you guys are checking out the link or the description that I have, basically it's talking about relating to characteristics of a process or a period of transition. Also, the action or process of adapting or being adapted. The adaptation of teaching strategy to meet students' needs. So in other words, guys, let me turn this down for you guys. What I'm actually speaking of is just the ability and the skill set of transition and also adapting to various different situations that we may come across in life. And as you guys know, I love speaking about elements, and one of the main elements that I decided to speak on today was basically talking about with water. Many of us, we can all relate to dealing with having an understanding what water is. But one question that I do want to ask you guys is when you think of the element of water, what comes to mind when you actually think about water? For those of you who may not know, water is an element. Basically, also as H2O, consisted of hydrogen and oxygen, but also at the same time, many people don't understand the characteristics of water, such as the different states of being that it actually has. So the three states of beings that I'm going to speak to you guys about with this particular element is it has the three states of being, which is a gas, solid, and liquid. This is relevant to us in everyday situations in life where we should really learn to take the characteristics of water and learn how to apply it in our lives for multiple different situations. So for the first one most people are familiar with is the ability of water being in a liquid state. Now, usually when we think of a liquid state, just think of it being fluid, you think of rivers, oceans, streams, and so forth, right? But when we think about that element being utilized in that particular aspect, what do we usually see is taking place? Majority of the times what's taking place is water is used to transport. So if we're thinking of like boats, ships, and so forth, like, or even just streams and oceans, it's used to transport. So it's showing us that we should always remain in motion, so to speak. So if we're actually in like an ocean or a river, we'll notice that we should always be moving. We're always on top. We're always afloat. So when we're actually understanding how water actually utilizes this state of being as a liquid for transportation, we need to understand that it really loves breaking through barriers. It really doesn't like being limited. So if you really look at the abilities that water has is, anything that you apply to it, it'll take on, or anything that it's applied to, it'll take on as well. So water remains in like a very neutral state, and it has the ability to adapt. So what do I mean by that, of it having the ability to adapt? What I mean by that is no matter what situation or circumstance that it is faced with, it finds a way to remain in existence. So whether that be it being poured into a bottle, whether that it being a bottle being put into a bowl that it's consisted of, it's still going to find a way to exist and blend with whatever is applied to it or whatever it's applied to. So that's very significant to us when it comes to situations in our lives where we need to learn how to adapt to certain situations, no matter if we have pressure applied to us or if we're being applied to something else. We just really need to understand how to transition our state of being from just understanding the liquid state of being. Also, the liquid state of being, we know that we utilize it to also cleanse and purge situations or things like to that nature. But we're going to stick more so just the ability that it has to just survive and thrive throughout that. The state of being that I'm going to speak about as well is the gaseous state of being. So this is how it works. We have the gas, solid, and liquid. Most people are familiar with the liquid, but what we don't know is, what most people may not be familiar with is, depending on the temperature change, if too much heat is applied to water, if it's in a heated situation, it has the ability to transition and take the state of being into a gaseous state. Which means that it's not that it doesn't exist, it just finds another way to exist. And that's what we need to understand of learning how to utilize that ability in our own selves, in our own lives. Where if it's a heated situation, we need to learn not to necessarily just disappear, but to kind of reconstruct ourselves, reconstruct our DNA, reconstruct our mind, our emotions, our mentality, and with the circumstances if it's a heated situation, where we need to learn to expand. Now, that's what happens with water when it goes from a liquid to a gaseous state when heat is applied to it. It expands. So it really basically goes from being just this little small size to where it now fills up the atmosphere. Now, when it's filling up the atmosphere, just imagine you kind of being in the mindset or being in the form of water, right? Heated situation takes place. You begin to expand and swell up to where now you just disperse into the atmosphere. But now you're actually at a lighter state of being to where now you're up in the clouds, you're in the atmosphere, and you're able to view everything below. This is basically a way of us learning how to transition from just being there, just grounded by gravity, and then where we just expand into the atmosphere to where now we have a bird's eye view of the situation. Now what ends up happening is collect our thoughts. Allows us to just observe the situation for what it is by taking ourselves out of that situation and viewing it from a third party's perspective. So when we actually start to do that, if you notice how it happens when on a heated heated day, right? And water evaporates. After a while, when enough water is evaporated, it starts to gather and collect itself into what we call clouds. So when we're looking outside and we're looking at the sky, when we're seeing clouds, that's just water that's collecting itself once again to prepare itself to transition back into that liquid state for it to fall back down to the grounds of the earth. So why me actually saying that? I just really want you to just imagine yourself being water once again. You're going up into the clouds, and now you're observing the situation, you gather your thoughts, and now you're ready to return to the situation to where you can actually make an impact to that. So when we actually look at when the weather changes and it begins to rain, rain is a symbol of like refreshing. It refreshes everything. It's a state of being where it allows itself to be shared amongst everyone else. It allows itself to return back to the situation, to clean and purge the situation, to wash away whatever may have been negative, then also to cool down the situation, because when it's hot outside and it rains, it cools off the temperature, it cools off the atmosphere. And that's what we should actually get in the habit of doing, is collecting our thoughts together and then returning to the situation, but we're cleaning the situation, we're cooling down the situation. Now, that's just one way of looking at it when it actually collects itself and it returns back to the ground. But the other state of being that I want to speak about is when the water is in a solid state. So how can water be in a solid state, you may ask? So the way water transitions into being a solid state, that's when it meets with a freezing temperature. a temperature that drops below freezing temperature, where it drops below to where now the water, the molecules, they condense even more with each other. Now they're locking, they're finding a form of solidity, you can say. They're being more, it's more stable, it's more stationary, to where now, if it's applied to a situation, so to speak, like another heat situation, it's going to release itself, it's going to melt, and it's going to cool down that situation as well. But the only difference this time is it's not just in a liquid state, it's in a solid state, and it has the ability to focus itself on that one point. That it has the ability to pinpoint that situation or that surface, so to speak. Take an ice cube, sit it on top of a heated plate or a heated cup or whatever. What happens is it's concentrating that on that one area, and it's allowing itself to melt. Now, when it's melting, it's returning back to a liquid state, and it's melting to somewhat submerge or to cover the surface of that area. Now, when it's actually doing that, it's really cleaning it, number one, it's cooling it off, but now it's also letting its presence be known, like, I'm still here. So that's what happens with us in life. When we're facing certain situations, we go through all these different transitions and these states of beings, from going from a liquid to a gas, which is the clouds. Observe the situation. Once we gather and collect our thoughts like the clouds, we return back to the situation to clean the situation, to cool the situation down. But then also, we have an ability to where if it's not necessarily too hot, if it's too cold, we can focus on a certain situation to be preserved, and then we can be applied to a specific area or a specific situation in life to where we can cool that specific situation off. We can cool that down and clean and do whatever we need to basically make our presence known again. So in other words, that's like a way of saying where some people may be on the path of success, right? And you may not hear anything from them for a while. Excuse me. You may not hear anything from them for a while. However, that doesn't mean that they're not in the laboratory working out like a solution or working on a plan or working on something to actually make a statement for when they actually return, just as rain does. Rain comes back with a statement. Majority of the time when it's heavy rainfall, that's what we consider like a thunderstorm or a rainstorm. When, if you know what a rainstorm or thunderstorm is, it's coming with sound, it's coming with flashing lights, it's coming with heaviness, and it's letting you know, like, anybody that's in the way, if you don't have an umbrella, then you better stay indoors. So that's how some people actually do when they're actually on a path of success. They resemble those same exact qualities, those same exact forms of characteristics, to where they make a statement whenever they return back, when they're trying to show more and more success of their progress and their growth in life. They return back with a bang, with a clash, just like thunder does. They return with a flash of light, just as lightning does, and it lets it be known, like, I have power, I have authority, I have dominance. And certain people, such as like children, most people know children, they're afraid of when it's a thunderstorm. They're like, oh my God, what's going on? They get so scared and frantic, and they just don't know what to do besides just to go hide under the bed or go to the parents and so forth. That's symbolic to people that are in our lives that may be immature or who may have a childlike mentality, and they're basically somewhat hating, you can say, on like your success and your progress. And then when you return back, they go scattering and trying to find a plot like a rock under the hide. And you're like, okay, I'm here. There's nothing you can do about it. You state your authority, state your name, state who you are, state what you're doing, and everyone else, they will flee. Those that are not strong enough, that's not about business, that's not about power, that's not about standing their ground or going against the odds. They will no longer be in your path. That allows you, now you're looking at relationships from one element with another element. Now you're working sound, you're working with vision, you're working with presence. So when you actually have sound and you have vision and now you have presence, that's your stage right there, that's your platform, and it allows you to go throughout life walking with more of with a greater purpose. Now everyone knows who you are. You're now a storm. You're taking the world, you're taking the road of success by storm. And those that are not equipped with the necessary tools, whether they're going to assist you or whether they're going to be able to just endure that season or that time or that storm, they will no longer be in your way. So that actually opens up room for you to actually be able to have a clarity, a clear path for you to just continue on with no distractions, without any obstacles. It removes those obstacles, just as rain does. It'll remove any obstacles. If there's a pile of dirt right there, it turns it to mud, which brings this pile that's this high, and it melts it down to where it disperses it, to eventually it cleans the path to where now you can walk clean. So, guys, these are just things I want you to just kind of visualize. No matter what situation you may be faced with, just understand these characteristics that water has. Understand its different transitional states. Understand the ability that it has to be able to adapt to multiple and various different situations. You have the ability to be a liquid. Once again, I'm just going to recap everything. You have this ability to be in a liquid state, which is for transition, which is to consume or immerse or encompass or to be applied to something. You also have the ability to, if it's a heated situation, you have the ability to leave that situation, head up to the heavens, to the clouds, to expand, to have a bird's eye view, to view it from a third person's point of view, to remove yourself from the situation to where it's safe, to analyze the situation, gather your thoughts collectively just as the clouds do. And when they gather their thoughts, and now you're able to return back to that situation, to clean it, to wash it away, to refresh it. And once it's refreshed and once it's cleaned, you have an option of whether have a sun shower to where it's beautiful, nice, and cooling and relaxing, refreshing through that day, or you have the option of coming and taking it by storm, just as a thunderstorm where it's boom, clap, and flashing lights and standing with power and authority, to where now anyone that is not equipped with a heavy-duty umbrella or they don't have the raincoats, they're not going to stand in your path. They're going to be removed. If they're about business, just as we know how business people do, we come prepared no matter what. So if it is a rainstorm or a thunderstorm, we have our umbrellas packed up and we have everything that's waterproof so we can get to our destination, get to the office, get to that meeting that we need to, and basically make things happen. But if you're not equipped with it, it does not matter. But then also remember the solid state. The solid state is for us to concentrate, to focus on a particular area that is heated, that needs to be cooled down, for us to just apply ourselves specifically and focus just on that one task that is at hand. And then we return back to our natural state of being that most people is familiar with, where people are like, wow, you're really yourself. Yeah, that's because you returned back to the liquid state, to where now people can visually see you in a clear vision. So guys, with that being said, I just hope that that was meaningful to you guys. I hope that you guys can take something from that, learning how to apply and learning how to transition, but also learning to adapt, because understand, it is a process. They coexist. In order to transition, you have to learn how to adapt. In order for you to be able to adapt, you have to learn to transition. So it's one and the same. So understanding these qualities, these skills, and you start to apply them to many different situations, you see yourself progressing gradually throughout life on a path and the road to success. So guys, with that being said, that's my topic for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, I am Elegance Champagne, founder of Abstract Thoughts, Our Transition Mind, VP with MindsUp with my beautiful queen, Takiyah Diamond, and then also a part of a phenomenal tag team transformational team with Queen Mother and Mako. Thank you very much, and thank you, Vanessa JCA, once again. So guys, with that, have a blessed one. See you guys next Tuesday. Blessings. Thank you. You said it kept stopping? Yeah, don't stop it there. So we'll be bringing up the next guest, everyone, so stay tuned.
Hoping everybody's enjoying. Next, we're going to bring up the beautiful and sparkling Takiyah Diamond. I hope that you've been inspired. Listen, if you enjoy what you've been seeing so far, please leave some comments below. We are truly grateful to be here in Vanessa JC's studio. And, you know, it's always important to support our own women entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs of color. One of the things that we have to relearn is the importance of supporting one another. And so we're very grateful that Vanessa has opened up the opportunity for us to be here, but also very much want to make you aware of the fact that this is an amazing event space. I mean, I see so many pictures on her page of this event, and I find out that there are some people I know who've been here as I check through the pictures, and so I mean, this is used for parties for premieres, all kinds of wonderful, wonderful things right here hidden in this little jewel in Orange, New Jersey. So please be sure to contact Vanessa JC if you are looking for a space to hold your event. Now, regarding the Transformation Tag Team, we have a full ensemble of us located in different places, and there are a core of us. There's a core of us that is located here in New Jersey. We have Rasheem Pugh, who's in North Carolina. We have Dr. Herbert Harris, who's in North Carolina. We have Skeeter Selena Stevenson, who is in South Jersey, and I expect as we continue to expand that we'll be attracting other people from across the country. If you are interested in becoming part of this amazing Transformation Tag Team, please contact me, Queen Mother Imaku, and call 646-228-1185. I encourage you to leave a text because I get so many messages. I have to tell my own mother, please listen, leave a text because I get so many messages, it's hard to be able to keep up with them all, okay? But we would love if you have a voice, if you have a polish to what you do, if you have a passion for what you do, if you have a message that you want to share to inspire others, then please reach out to see about becoming part of this team as we continue to grow and expand and eventually take this thing on the road. Bring us to a city near you. If you're interested in being a financial sponsor to the Transformation Tag Team, then especially reach out. Listen, the world needs us. And if you're able to support, then we need you in order to help get the word out and help make this world a better place. Okay, so next we have Takiyah Diamond, whose amazing new book. Tell me the title of the book again. The title of your book? The book. I'm saying the title of the book.
Oh, which one?
The newest one. Yes, Poverty to Profit, okay? And go to the website, povertytoprofit.org. Okay, she's got amazing motivational music that is on that. Also, I want to remind you, please, if you are near Elizabeth or in Elizabeth, please go to, it's tomorrow, right, Reverend Gail? Please go tomorrow to listen to the dynamic Reverend Gail Campbell as she brings a message in conjunction with the 50th anniversary of the transition of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. It will begin where? At the courthouse, and then you'll be processing to the location of the murder. You know, this is really something because I remember participating in a protest outside of a gentleman's club. Is it on Liberty? Is it? There was outside at the very same club, Escape, a murder that took place maybe about 4 years ago, where I was out there with Brother Ishmael and we were protesting. And so, listen, find out what's going on in your city and get involved in order to make change. I'm sure the message that Reverend Gail will bring tomorrow will be touching on that and how you are able to make the difference by speaking out, by being aware, and by standing up, okay? And so, and the time for that again, Reverend Gail, well, go to Reverend Gail's page, she'll have the information, okay? Gail Campbell, Reverend Gail Campbell, all right. And thanks again to Elegance Champagne for that very informative and appropriate message, because of the fact that water is something that all of us can relate to, and the messages that come from just observing how water acts and reacts is so applicable to all of us. I'm a water priestess. We have water ceremony in our temple, and so that message was especially moving for me. But you know, the thing that I love about Elegance is the fact that he comes from this really highly intellectual place and breaks things down in a way that is palpable. Thoughts of a transitional mind, is that it? Of a transitioned mind is so apropos. You can always tell when you're dealing with somebody who is
Hey y'all. Okay.
Huh? Say it again. The phone? Thank you. Hey y'all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Okay. Okay, how does it look? It look okay? Huh? Huh? Okay. This is what it is. Don't move it. Oh, it's something wrong with it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it might fall.
Okay.
It was really fine.
Okay. All right. Hey, share this live for me, y'all. We're gonna be talking about getting your beliefs in check. You can hear me okay, Nesta? Okay. Minds up, y'all. This is your girl, Takiyah Diamond. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in today to the Transformation Tag Team Tuesday. Woo! Y'all already know this is how we do, and this is what we do each and every Tuesday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Now, last week, what did we talk about? Because, of course, you know, to check you, we got to do a little recap, okay? And so last week we talked about getting your beliefs in check. And so today I'm going to just recap a little bit on what we talked about last week. And then I'm going to take you into some things that, you can actually do to change those beliefs. More importantly, I'm going to give you behind 5 beliefs that your butt need to drop right now. So I hope you guys are all excited for today. I'm going to send out so much love right now to Queen Mother Imaku, who is responsible for the Transformation Tag Team. And so, it's just awesome. It's always all good. I want to shout out my team, Transformation Tag Team, who was doing this with me, because we ain't doing this alone. It's just not happening. We are not doing this alone. And I have to give them a big shout out to Vanessa JC for believing in me and believing in the Transformation Tag Team to actually come here and be able to do this on the stage. Yes. So let's talk about getting your beliefs in check. All right? So how do our beliefs affect our lives, right? That is what we were channeling on last week. I guess I didn't even tell you guys. For those of you who are new to me, my name is Takiyah Diamond. I'm a mind hack engineer, an international speaker, coach, and trainer in the field of personal development. I am the CEO of MindsUp Academy and also the Poverty to Profit Wealth Development Corporation. I help men and women who struggle with confidence, with scarcity, and with other unhealthy limiting beliefs that keep you stuck and disable your power in order for you to become successful, okay? And so at the end of the day, you can achieve it, but you gotta believe that you can do it, and I can help you do that. So last week we were discussing how all of us have our set of beliefs, right, that shape our lives. All of us have beliefs that came from our parents' parents, that's been passed down to their parents, and it's basically just been like a consecutive thing, generational thing, with the behaviors and the beliefs we have, where we actually accept the different things that we have been told in regards to, what is true and what is not true, okay? So the first thing that we reviewed last week was, what is a belief? Do you even know what a belief is? So a belief is actually something that we consider to be fact, okay? Anything that we assume to be true, right? Now, sometimes what we assume to be true may not be true at all. And in most cases, this is where we fall. We become victim of our beliefs, and we become victims of our circumstances, which your circumstances do not define you, okay, whatsoever, right? Our beliefs are only there to serve as a function to help us get through our daily experiences, our daily life, and, to help us navigate the world, in the best way that we know how, right? So once our beliefs are formed, what happens is they become ingrained into our subconscious mind. So they're operating and they're running whether we are aware of it or not. Okay, and so this is the point where we actually have to shift that. We have to identify, what is real for me, what was real for my mother that was passed down to me, what was real for my dad or my grandmother or whoever raised you, okay? Second thing we talked about was how your beliefs are formed. Your beliefs are formed in 2 ways, okay? So the first way that your beliefs are generally formed is by what? Our experiences, what we experience life, right? So, if you went through a breakup or whatever the case might be, you might hold on to this belief that love is hard to find. You might hold on to this belief that there are no good men out there are no good women out there, all men are dogs, women just want money, or whatever it is that you have adopted based on your environment and, especially the things that we take ownership to be true for us just because we watch it on the music videos and all that other wonderful stuff. And we start to adopt the behaviors of the reality TV community, okay? And many other things, the music industry and so much more, okay? And the second thing is, by accepting what others tell us to be true, which is what I'm talking about when it comes to, using media. So our parents and our environment, if they play a big part in molding our beliefs, right? From a very, very young age all the way up until we get into adulthood, and next thing you know, we're running with the same behaviors, right? So when we accept something to be fact, right, it forms a belief, it's stuff into our subconscious mind, and we have to understand that your subconscious mind does not believe in what's true or what's false. It just responds based on the signal that you are sending to it, okay? And how do you send signals to your subconscious mind? It's based on how you feel. What you feel, you make real. What's going on inside of you is what you are seeing as a reflection taking place on the outside of you. So it's not until you do an internal checkup from the neck up, right, to see what's going on within here, to actually be able to identify these things, because you have to retrain your brain. If you do not retrain your brain, if you do not shift the way that you think, if you do not shift the things that you believe, you will always continue to see the very same experiences that you have continuously experienced all this time, okay? We also talked about, last thing, and then we're going to get into it, we talked about how our beliefs affect our behaviors, right? How our thoughts and emotions. So we talked real quickly about how I can prove to you that your thoughts and your beliefs affect your emotions, because when you're crossing the street, what is the first thing that you do? You look both ways. But why do you look both ways? Somebody told you that crossing the street could be dangerous, and you knew that that is what you needed to do in order to cross the street safely. So we have several other beliefs, hundreds of beliefs that are stored into our subconscious mind. So it's not until we actually rewire and redefine what it is that we have been holding so strongly to, and it's a stronghold. It's a stronghold because technically speaking, it could be something you really do want to let go of, but you just can't figure out how. And this is really because we have these deeply rooted beliefs that we cling to subconsciously, okay? And our mind continues to look for proof to validate them and to make them be true, okay? So we know that beliefs can be empowering or they can be limiting, right? So our limiting beliefs do what? They prevent us from fulfilling our full potential, right? They hold us back, they hinder our success, they jack up our emotions and our thoughts, right? And it usually leaves us in a negative space. It usually leaves us in a space that we feel powerless to, okay? So an empowering or positive belief is what? On the other hand, it allows us to act resiliently, right? It allows us to believe in ourselves. And at the end of the day, it all boils down to our beliefs. Real quick, a limiting belief example. The way that my body is because that's the way that my family is. Like, I can't lose weight because my family is just big-boned. Is that true? Right? So the empowering belief would be, I can be slim and healthy if I exercise and I eat right, because you can, okay? So another limiting belief would be, I'll never be successful unless I have a master's degree. But how many rich, wealthy, and successful people never even went to college and still achieved their dreams? Which proves that that is also a limiting belief, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you can witness somebody else doing it, it means that you too can do it, provided that you decide what it is that you want, and you have to be dedicated, okay? You have to, I can't think of the word, but you actually, you have to be certain that you are going to do what it takes to make this shift. At the end of the day, your success is determined not by master's degree, but how hard you work, okay? And also not your education level, but what you put into it, what you research in order to figure out, how can I? So stop asking all the wrong questions. Why can't I? I can't do this because I don't have the right connections. I don't know the right people. How about get your behind out there, connect and meet with new people who can elevate you, who can show you the way to go. You don't have to struggle. It's a coach out there for almost everything nowadays. I don't even care if you want to lose weight. I don't care if you want to do backflips and tap dancing. There's somebody out there to teach you exactly what you need to do in order to perfect your craft. But it is completely up to you the steps that you take, okay? So those are just a few examples and really just to show you how limiting your beliefs are, okay? So let's go ahead and get right into how you identify limiting negative beliefs, okay? So in order to find out what your limiting belief is, or what your limiting beliefs are, excuse me, to find out what they really are, right? You have to spend some time asking yourself a few questions, right? If you really want to get out of your own way, it's going to require you to do some soul searching, okay? Hate it or love it, it is what it is. You're going to have to just deal with it, right? But is it worth it? It's absolutely worth it because it can be life-changing. So last week we went over 4 questions. What areas of your life do you feel like you're not getting what you want? Areas of your life have you tried to improve, but you didn't get the results that you want? What aspects of your life make you unhappy and discontented? And the last question was what? In what areas of your life do you feel weak? Do you feel powerless? Do you feel incompetent? Do you feel held back? Okay? Because these are going to show you and identify to you where you are stuck. Okay? So, how to replace our limiting beliefs with empowering ones. All right, so our belief systems are powerful, right? We talked about that last week. Almost everything we think, almost everything we feel, okay? Now, once you have actually identified those limiting beliefs by asking yourself questions that I just provided to you, right? It's time to replace them with empowering ones. And this is because we've spent year after year and years after years and decades after decades. You got these beliefs over time, okay? And so it's going to be over time that you have to work on yourself, in order for you to shift them, okay? So let's hop right into this. Is there something that you want to do or something that you don't want to do, but you can't, stop yourself from doing it, right? Or you feel like there's something in your way of achieving it, right? You just don't know, what's in the way of that limiting belief, right? So in order to let go of a limiting belief, we first got to identify that you have one, right? And your limiting beliefs are usually a bit more, I want to say, identifiable in other people, right? So you can hear it in the way that people speak what their beliefs is. If you hear somebody saying the more money that comes in, the faster it goes out. The quicker I get money, I can't hold on to it, blah, 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 blah. And you're telling your subconscious mind that you can get money. And yes, you do get money. But what ends up happening is the money does not stay with you, okay? Why doesn't the money stay with you? Because you got this limiting belief running in the background that you really can't have it, that you can't hold on to it. Why are you not holding on to it? Because you don't have a plan for your money, okay? You have no idea, you have no setup, you have no structure, no strategy as to when I receive X amount of dollars, or what I'm going to do with this money that I know is coming in is I'm going to invest to where you can have money working for you instead of you working for money. But it's all about your belief systems, okay? So you have to learn to actually let go of those limiting beliefs if you want to see something else. And other people's languages, right? You hear them saying things that, I gotta keep this job because it's hard to find another job, blah, 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 right? Or you might hear them say, I can't leave this relationship because nobody else is gonna want me. And usually it's because the person that you were with before or the person that you're currently with is telling you you'll never find nobody better than me. Oh, girlfriend, please, okay? At the end of the day, when you step your game up, okay, you will attract somebody whose game is already stepped up, who will bring you up and stop dragging you down when you let go of what you think you need to hold on to based on somebody else's belief or based on somebody else's insecurity. Just because it's somebody else's insecurity doesn't make it true for you. It becomes true for you when you believe what it is that they say. Okay? So you can unveil your own limiting beliefs by paying attention to where you are in your life right now. If you start paying attention to where you are right now, if you notice that you're receiving poor results, what is that telling you? If you feel like, you're struggling to reach certain goals, you got to remember, guys, that what we achieve in life or what we fail to achieve in life is directly related to our beliefs. There's no way around it, okay? So once an unconscious limiting belief is actually brought into conscious awareness, which means that now you're actually able to see the beliefs that you've been holding on to, we have to address the belief's intention. Okay, so what is the intention of this belief, right? So that's when we can begin releasing them. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start by asking yourself, what purpose is this belief serving me? What purpose is it serving me? Every belief, every behavior, it has a positive intention, whether it's good or bad, and at the end of the day, you developed it for a purpose. So stop with this victimization and oh, this happened to me and all that other stuff. Yes, it happened, but it happened for a purpose, okay? So if you try to change your belief without acknowledging the intention of the belief, you know what's going to happen? It's going to trigger this defensiveness where you feel like, you know, you got to defend yourself, you got to be right about certain things, and then you start taking actions to make it true, okay? So the first thing you have to do is unveil the belief's intention, right? What is the value of that belief, okay? In order to release it and keep it from hindering your life, you know, what value does it have? Okay, so by seeking to actually fulfill whatever the intention of the belief is, this is how you'll be able to kind of like, you know, diffuse it. Okay, so I'm going to give you examples of intentions behind limiting beliefs, so you can see what I'm talking about, because I can tell you this all day, but if I don't explain to you how it works, it could be a little challenging to understand where I'm taking you, okay? So, here's a belief. I can't believe, you know, or I said this earlier, right? How I can't believe this relationship, I'll never find somebody better. So what is the intention behind this belief? The intention behind this belief is it keeps me loyal and it keeps me empathetic in my current relationship. That's just the bottom line, okay? Next, believe. I got to keep this job, right? As it's difficult to find new work, blah, 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 blah. So what is the intention behind that belief? It keeps you attentive and it keeps you disciplined at work because you're not even seeking a way to get out. You just chose to just say, okay, this is what it is and I need to pay my bills, so I'm going to stay there. But do you know that staying there is actually limiting your growth? Okay, it's limiting your growth, and it's more than likely limiting the money that you could actually have in your pocket and be making at a whole nother job, likely doing the same thing, but you're so comfortable with where you are and you won't step outside of that box, okay, of that building or whatever, which is keeping you stuck, and you become mad content with where you are, okay? So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to begin implementing more appropriate ways to satisfy these old beliefs and intentions, okay? And then you got to start focusing on what? Some new resourceful beliefs that actually support you in achieving the results that you want. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to pick a limiting belief, and I want you to think about, how has this belief held you back? Okay, how has this belief made you powerless? Okay, and how has it worked against you? All right, so the more that you practice, you know, just identifying these things, the sooner you're going to retrain your brain and reteach your subconscious mind to basically start introducing corresponding and empowering thoughts and feelings and actions. So if you start thinking positive and you start focusing on where you want to go, your subconscious mind is going to now trigger a signal that's going to say, okay, this is where she wants to go. This is where he wants to go. And now you're going to start meeting new people, places, and things that will line up in order for you to be able to make that reality come to life, okay? And so in wrapping this up, I'm going to give you 5 limiting beliefs that are worth losing. They got to go, okay? Okay, so there are 2 ways to the world, right? The way that we think that it should work and the way that it really is, all right? And so the struggle in life usually comes with us not being able to identify with what it really is, okay? So part of the secret to embracing the flow of life is the acceptance of the way things actually are. Yes, even if you don't agree with the way that they are, you still got to accept it, because at the end of the day, what are you going to do? Kill yourself? No, it just is what it is, and you got to just do what you have to do to get past it and stop allowing it to hold you hostage, okay? So the 5 limiting beliefs that are worth you losing right now is, number 1, life is fair or life isn't fair, okay? At the end of the day, life just is the way it is, okay? So living life and trying to secure this justice, it never pays off. It doesn't, right? Well, unless you're an attorney, right? Then it might pay off. There'll be lots of times when life is unfair, okay? And that's just the bottom line. It sucks, I get it, but it is what it is. And the sooner that you accept that and you stop wasting your energy on wishing it was different, okay, or wishing that it just wasn't this way, the more of your life that you'll actually begin to participate in, that you can participate in, instead of like hopeless, all right? So there's plenty of things in life that are fair, okay? So your new assignment is to seek them out. What is fair, okay? You know, at the end of the day, you gotta go through it or grow through it, as I always say, all right? The second belief that needs to hit the road jack, okay, is suffering is bad. Okay, I know you guys might hit, what she means? Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Suffering, it feels bad when it's happening, okay? So, which means that is just a feeling that you're dealing with at this particular time. Okay, so it doesn't mean that, you know, oh, suffering is just so bad. Yes, it does feel jacked up. I get it, it does. However, suffering is also the silver lining that we need to actually help us grow and get into the next place in our life. Okay, and so it's not until you evolve past that, let that go so you can grow. At the end of the day, let's face it, okay? If it wasn't for our suffering, guys, we would never stop in our busy lives, right? To expand in the ways that we need to expand to make our lives better, all right? It's suffering, like I said, it's usually a stepping stone into the next level of your life. 3, you are in control, okay? You are in control. Although you are not always responsible for everything that happens, and I know sometimes things happen, right? But in the end, you still are responsible to how you respond to whatever situation that you have come up against, right? So there's so much more that goes into the synchronicity of things actually lining up for us, us obsessively planning and preparing, right? At the end of the day, bad things happen. You know, things don't work out always the way that we want them to all the time. And so what? Like stop stressing yourself. Sometimes you have to just allow and just let it go, right? And just let it flow with the way that it needs to flow. Sometimes it could be preventing you from something else. And if it's preventing you from something else, wouldn't it be a good thing that maybe you got to this place a little late because God avoided an accident for you, or whatever the case might be. You know, now, let me be clear. I'm not saying it's okay to make excuses for not showing up. I'm saying that there are things that happen, there are things that take place that you don't really have no control over. So what you got to do is take control, step into your power, and understand that all of our lives will play out differently, okay? And sometimes it's a little bit different than what you wanted. Number 4 is you will have this belief that you need to drop, that people are obligated to love you a certain way. People are not obligated to love you the way that you feel you should be loved. People love you in the way that they know how, okay? So you can always focus on, you know, why they're not supportive enough, why they're not compassionate enough, or why they're always saying the wrong things at the wrong time. But the fact is, you don't get to make the call as to how somebody else acts, okay? Or how somebody decides to love you. We all have the ability to love, right? So we got to stop demanding that people love us the way that we think that they should love us in order for us to feel comfortable. Because at the end of the day, that's something that's going on in you, okay? To where you feel lack of love, or where you feel lack in whatever area of your life. You have to become strong for yourself, okay? Because at the end of the day, we can't control everybody, and you got to start learning how to allow people to love you the way that they know how. The last thing is keeping the peace, okay? Keeping the peace. This is the belief that gotta go. Keeping the peace actually keeps the peace. That don't work all the time. It don't work all the time. Sometimes you gotta speak out. You gotta just be like, look, I'm sorry, but you know, this is what I feel, and this is what needs to be addressed. This is what needs to be changed. This is what needs to be altered. Is what it is, okay? So staying quiet and trying not to hurt somebody's feelings at the expense of your own happiness, It's outdated. Kiddo, it's outdated, okay? Stop it, all right? So not only does holding back a serious conversation that needs to be had, what does it do? It put stress on your body because you haven't let out that vibration or them words or whatever it is that you wanted to say, eating up your inside. They okay with being unstable. They're okay dependable, okay? But at the end of the day, if it doesn't fit for you and you feel some kind of way about it, open your mouth. Closed mouths don't get fed. All right, and that is that, okay? So the key is to identify and eliminate your limiting beliefs by letting them go so you can grow, okay? Sometimes our perceptions, of significant emotional events in our lives, they play a big part to what we hold on to as far as limiting beliefs that are become programmed in our mind. At the end of the day, it's just your mind. Your mind is your mind, your thoughts are your thoughts, your brain is your brain, okay? All of these things work together. They're three separate things. You have to learn how to use them in conjunction rather than believing they're all one thing because they're not, okay? But you can't get past it. You can't get past it. And that's the greatest thing about it, all right? So, in closing, on another level, if you find it hard and you still see that even though you're practicing some of the things that I'm telling you and you're still struggling with, letting go of these limiting beliefs or whatever the case might be, then it's probably something going on a deeper energetic level, okay? And so cases like that, there are, you guys know, for those of you who don't know or you do know, there's NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, okay? There's hypnotherapy, there's psychotherapy that may be useful to you to help you get to the energetic core of what's really holding you back, right? Or letting go of what's really holding you back, right? And so the bottom line is you have to drop the habit recording. And so, and I can help you do that if you want to, okay? And so my recommendation for you is if that's something that you feel like you're struggling with and you're trying to get through it, if you are ready now to go ahead and drop them zeros and become the hero of your own life, okay, then my recommendation is to set up a free clarity session with me. It's a breakthrough coaching session. You get 15 minutes where we actually chop it up a little bit so that you can kind of understand and see what's going on. I know I'm worth you working with, and I know you are worth working with me to get past your limits, okay? So you have to change your mindset in order for you to create, new beliefs. If you feel like, the one-on-one coaching thing is scary for you, purchase my book, Get Your Life Together, okay? Get Your Life Together will get you into the beginning stages so you can understand, how to pull up the weeds and plant new seeds for a transformed life, all right? You can find that at my website at www.takiyahdiamond.com. Or you can inbox me directly on Facebook or Instagram as Takiyah Diamond. All right, so I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today to the Transformation Taxi. Woo! And I hope that you guys have discovered your limiting beliefs. If you need a little bit more, okay, if you need, thank you. If you need a little bit more help, getting through these things, stop being scared, okay? That's what got you in this situation. You're being scared, your fear, okay? Get past the fears and understand that it is your faith that you can do it that will help you to get past. Next up, we have Dr. Herbert Harris, and he is coming to you live. Y'all better get ready because Dr. Herbert Harris is a firebomb, okay? And so, okay, yes. So I need you guys to go to Herbert, Herbert, Harris, Harris, okay? Click on him. I'm about to put his live on my page, so you can also watch it on my page, but become his friend, okay? Like him, like the page and stuff like that. Because, like all of us. Anybody that you see here, if you feel driven or whatever by the information that we have provided to you, just follow us, okay? We want you just as bad as you need us to help you get through the things that you are experiencing in your life today. So, minds up, everybody. Deuces, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week. I'm not telling you the topic yet, but just get ready to unfold, unwind, and rise.